What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Treasure map has been officially shown off in game, and now we can actually have a look at each of the fights and give you guys a bit of a breakdown in terms of some things that you may want to keep in the back of your mind when you're building your teams for this upcoming TM. Remember that the World Cruise, or the World Clash, is currently live, meaning that, whatever points you get from Pirate Rumble will be counted towards that. Also for Treasure Map, when Part 2 drops for Treasure Map for the World Clash, World Cruise, points depending on where you rank will be given, and then also when Kizuna Clash comes out, that will also be a part of the World Cruise celebration. So going hard on Treasure Map this time around actually makes sense, giving you better ranking in the World Cruise event. But before we actually jump into each of the bosses, let's have a quick rundown once again for the 5+ Super Evolution of Coby. Now, I talked about it in the data download video, but I feel like this character is it's just not it. I wish that he received a bit more from his Super Evolution. The Captain ability got like 0.25 increases in terms of multipliers, and then he also makes tandem slots matching now, or he makes side slots matching now. One of those two matching slots that he now has was not present previously, so not a big change in his captain. And then the special ability hasn't changed that much either. Right there you can see at the bottom, it actually reduces Bind and Despair by 5. Previously it was only Bind, so removing a bit of Despair is always nice. The chain boost went from 1.1 to 1.3, and then it also mentions that at the bottom that you get like a 15 times character's recovery heal. So it's not a massive change, so I really wish that they would have done a bit more for Coby overall. So I'm not really that excited about this unit this time around, but despite all that, let's go ahead now and start talking about each of the bosses here for this new treasure map, as, some of them seem pretty easy, but other ones definitely not so much. So the first boss is going to be against Helmeppo, and this is a ridiculously easy boss. The first 3 bosses are very, very easy, as they basically just want you to use Final Tap Law with his Super Evolution. His Super Type removes attack down and paralysis, gets you a matching slot when you use his special, changes slots, you get attack boost, all that good stuff. So, like, Law is basically all you need, and you just need, like, someone to trigger the super type of Law. In this case, I just decided to put Kid, relatively high point booster, has a color affinity boost, synergizes with Law, so that's, like, a really good choice, but as long as you can have Law and his super type ready, like, this fight's very easy. Moving on to the second fight versus Sandersonia and Marigold, I would argue this is even easier, as everyone was able to achieve this character with the current Rumble season with the Super Evolution of Rayleigh. Now, Rayleigh's special ability, and when you use him as a captain, of course, he gets around everything by himself. As a captain, gets around the attack down, special gets rid of paralysis, full water matching slots, attack boost, orb boost, bypass defensive effects. Like, Rayleigh is all you need, so you can just fill it out with a bunch of side units that are also fighter or cerebral. You can use slashes as well, but, fighter, cerebral are the ones that allow you to bypass the defensive effects. Rayleigh single-handedly destroys this fight. So having a look at the third fight is against Rayleigh, and this one is also really easy, as the 2 recommended characters for this quest just get around everything. They both get around, like, the attack down, Luffy gets around the special bind, Jinbei gets around the defense and stuff. I think you just need a way to get matching slots, and Jinbei already kind of does that as well. He gets, like, half of your team matching slots. So you just run a bunch of int characters, that you can just use with this team, and that's basically all you need. This combo just works for getting around everything. So as long as you build for within the captain parameters, yeah, this is another really easy boss fight. So now taking a look at the final Battle Rush boss before we talk about the final boss and the Intrusion, we've got Boa Hancock. Now this is like the first Battle Rush now where, this is kind of difficult. So with this team, you're ideally using the new Blackbeard as the friend captain, as it enables you to bypass defensive effects, which is really key. And Blackbeard's special obviously is very good for getting the matching slots, allowing you to get a really good orb boost for your crew as well that will bypass the enemy's intimidation. But for this team, we have the Jinbei to get around the special bind, and he also gives a color affinity boost to strength, psi, and int characters, so that's really nice. And you do see we are using a non-boosted character on this team. We are using World. So World is not a very accessible character, I would say, but the thing about it is he is available from the Sugo Metal Exchange. I think he only costs 100 medals, And the thing about Brindy World that's really nice is that you only really need the stage 1 special because it removes all attack reducing effects on the crew. What this means is he removes all turns of attack down, and there are a lot of turns of attack down, and there's not a lot of good characters that are boosted that get around a lot of turns of it. Of course, you could use someone as a captain to get around the attack down potentially, but Brindy World I'd say is, in some ways he's not accessible because you can't get him from anywhere, but you can if you spend the Sugo medals. So if you have excess Sugo medals, I would recommend picking him up because that special in this content is really nice. As for the rest of the crew, the free-to-play Jesus Burgess is just to enable the super type of Blackbeard. And then we've got Akainu for color affinity. We have an attack boost with lead performers. You know, very basic stuff, but, you know, with Jinbei, Brindy World, and then Blackbeard, those are the 3 key characters, at least for this team, to get around all the gimmicks. So now we actually get to the nitty-gritty, which is the final boss against the S-Hawk, the Seraphim Mihawk. And in this fight, we are ideally using the new Cross Guild as our friend captain for this quest. So the way that this thing will go is on stage 2, we're going to be using the Buggy Special, which will target or put the set target status on all of the enemies. And then of course when we kill them, that will actually trigger the EX Super of Buggy to become now available. So that's going to be important for one of the later fights on stage 3. Also on stage 2, we would switch into Zora and then use Zora's special, and that would remove the increased defense on the opponent. And then we also have this Dex treasure map Akainu. His special removes Despair, and it also inflicts Burn and removes Burn. It just gets around all the stuff. So we have set target, Zora's special, and then the Akainu special that should deal with that stage comfortably. When we move into the final stage, we would use the EX Super of Buggy, which would give us -2 cooldown to the whole crew. We do use Nami Karina, which I kind of understand as well is not a very accessible unit either. She is available on this upcoming Sugafest though, which is dope. But Nami Karina special, when you're at least in the Karina form, gives you -2 cooldown. They have the crewmate ability to resist 2 turns of special reverse. With the EX Super of Buggy launched, their special will be ready to give further 2 turns of cooldown. And that deals with all the special reverse. And Karina also removes 6 turns of attack down, so it just works out perfectly. And then we would use the secondary Buggy special, and on second launch, we actually do remove the enemy's threshold. We get an orb boost, we get the 1 million fixed damage through everything, so that's really dope. The Alba special will remove Despair on our side of the field. And he also gives 3 turns of color affinity. And then we also have Chopper. Now, Chopper doesn't really fit well in this team, but the only reason why we are bringing him is because his special ability does remove poison. I can't remember if it's stage 1. No, you have to use stage 2, which is 9 turns cooldown when this guy's completely maxed out. But that allows us to get around the poison slots that are inflicted on our side of the field. So Chopper's a really weird unit, and also Nami Karina aren't being boosted on this team because they're not slasher or driven. So, you know, Cross Skill don't boost them. Zora Sanji will still half boost them, which is good, but it is what it is. This is an interesting team. This is what I come up with for now. I don't know if this is going to be the best way forward. I was trying to figure out ways to potentially replace Chopper, like, you know, get a full board of slots that you cannot be changed, and then the enemy can't even give you the poison slots. That's one strategy you could try and implement, but there's not a lot of boosted characters that could kind of fit that specific role. So I went with this instead, utilizing this Chopper, which isn't really a great unit in this content, but he does get around the poison if you don't have that Mr. 3 new rare recruit from the upcoming Sugafest. And then finally we get our Intrusion fight versus Coby. So with this fight, once again, we're ideally using Cross Guild as our friend, and we're going to be using Yamato, the dual Yamato, as our leader this time around. So stage 2, we're going to use the Carrot Wanda special, which actually removes enemies' defense, well, sets the enemy's defense to 0, and it deals with the special reverse. It gives us an orb boost. It's a really good special, actually. We would also use the Friend Captain Buggy special, inflicting the set target status, so that when we kill these characters, it will allow us to use the EX Super on the following turn. And then we would also use Izo and Okiku on stage 2, so that we can carry the chain lock into the final room due to the intimidation that's inflicted on the final fight. So when we reach the final stage, we still have that chain lock active, which is dope. We're going to have the EX Super of our Cross Guild ready as our friend, so we would use the EX Super to get the cooldown reduction. Buggy special removing the defensive effects, does the fixed damage, gives us an orb boosting effect, which is great. The Dex Kid special removes paralysis and also gives color affinity for driven and striker characters and Dex characters. So that's cool. So cross guild will get that because they are driven. And then Yamato special will remove the rainbow shield. That also gives color affinity as well, but you know, it is what it is. We also have Rayleigh on the team. Now, Rayleigh is not needed at all. The only reason why Rayleigh is here is because he's the highest boosted character that I would consider to be quote-unquote accessible. So it is what it is. You know, Rayleigh is not needed at all, so you could replace that with another character to deal with more utility if you need it, or replace it with, you know, better ways to get slots or more damage, you know, whatever it may be. Rayleigh doesn't really help you that much in this team, but it could actually add more final tap damage to cross guild, so it is what it is. And with all of that being said, that will wrap it up from me. So thank you very much for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.